I'm Debbie Godfrey, and this is the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast. In season 2, I'm answering your questions about parenting. So feel free to go to the link in the description and leave me a voice message, and I may answer your question on this podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy today's pep talk.
So if there's one other thing that I would, out of this reading, that I would like to ask, and you kind of touched on it, is that, obviously with their age, they're constantly going to ask 100 plus times a day for your attention, and that, you give them appropriate time frames. Okay, I can get to you when I'm done speaking on the phone or something. So try to give a gem as often as you can, but when they start getting really upset, because I'm having that issue now with my son, who, if he's not getting his immediate attention met, no matter what I tell him, and I do try to keep my promise at these points where I say, okay, as soon as I finish with this phone call, I will come and help you with whatever you need help with. But he, is really kind of prone to tantruming if he's not getting those needs met. So is there a more effective thing than just telling him I will be with you in a moment and then getting there? How can I get him to be more patient with me or something?
Right, and that's what the topic, I don't know if you listened to that lesson 7 about gems yet, but that's what that topic is. So you're going to do the gems, at least one per day, and then after that, if you're in a, if there's time, like let's say you've done your one gem, and now he wants your attention again, you evaluate what you're doing. If you're on a phone call, you're going to want to set a temporary limit, and with the just a minute thing, which I'll explain in a second. But if you're just doing something like washing the dishes or, having a moment of chill time or anything like that, you probably will choose to do another gem, if you're in a position where you can, because the more the better. But then there's a point where it's too much. So you don't want to do all 100 gems. That would be overindulging the child, and then they wouldn't learn that you have needs. But you can definitely do more than one a day. One's mandatory. Let's say 2 to 10 are great. Okay, but otherwise you want to set this temporary limit. So when you set the temporary limit, and I know it sounds like the phone call one is a little more challenging. I like to set a specific time limit. So I'll say, what you have to say, what you have to show me is really important to me, and I want to be listening at 100%. And I'll be with you when I'm off this phone call. And I would give it a time, say 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and give it more time than you need so that you don't break your agreement. Mm-hmm. And so I need 20 minutes to finish this call, and then I'll be with you. And then you make sure you honor that. Even though he doesn't tell time yet, this is practice for you, following through with your word, being in integrity, and this is what causes them to trust that you'll do what you say, so that they'll chill until you come with them. When parents don't give a specific time and don't follow through specifically, that's when the kids continue to pester because they don't believe it. Okay, so this is part of the training. It's going to be to do this over and over again, where you say, I'll be with you in 20 minutes, and then, if you're with them in 10, that's even better. Like, oh, it's 10 minutes, but I'm with you now. Or 5, whatever it is, you just make sure you come in under time and not over. And then the third idea that you're going to have also will be when we get to redirecting the goal of attention. So there's a 4-step process, and I don't want to go through teaching it here because you'll get that in a couple of weeks. But that'll be your third option for how to deal with these situations. What this will do over time, Rachel, is it will train him that if you say, I'll be with you in a few minutes, that you will, and he'll chill.
Right.
Right now he doesn't know whether that's true or not. Right. So he's going to keep bugging you. Okay. So those 3 things combined are really key to training them. And it could take a few months, it could take a year. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
But that's how it works. You're welcome. Okay, and I'm going to okay, let me get you off mute. Hi, Nejla. How are you doing?
Hi, Debbie. Good. How are you?
Great.
I actually don't have a specific question. I just wanted to say hi and tell you I'm on, but I'm walking in the city and with children, so I'm sort of I'm just listening. I'm just picking up great positive vibes as I navigate the city, and I'm going to really lose it on my kids. So I just told my daughter was just interrupting me. I was like, honey, I really want to hear what you have to say, so you're going to have to wait. So I just used your
right
tips
on.
right away.
Okay,
now, until I'm settled, I'm not going to take any. I don't have any questions.
Okay, are you listening to the recordings over again now?
Yes, we are. So
okay,
I admittedly have not gotten through all of this week's, but I am starting to listen through all of them again. And it's like you've said, listening to them all over again, it brings a lot of new information all the time.
Right.
So it's really helpful to be doing it again.
Great. Okay, and the recording of this will go out, and all that Rachel and I talked about earlier for the rest of the class.
Oh, great.
It's not here, and for you that missed the first part of it. So again, I'm going to put your hands down, and then if something comes up again, we may end the call soon, because I think this is it, unless Peter has something to say. Okay, so I'm going to mute you again. Have fun with the kids at the park. Okay, so Peter, if you want to talk, you're welcome to press 1 on your keypad, and if not, keep listening. Rachel, if you have any more questions, you can press 1 again. Otherwise, I'm going to recap the rest of this week and then what you're in store for next week, and then we'll end the call. So, and Rachel has another question. Good. Hi there.
Okay, sorry, but since we were just talking about it, can you tell me, is it on the website or did an email go out with the actual, recorded lessons? Because
yeah, it was an email that went out. Let me see. Let me go look in your, what I'll do is I'll go look at it and see, I can see if you've opened it or not. You may not have opened it, so I'll just resend it.
Okay, thank you.
And then you'll get another one Thursday with the next
they come out
set
on
of
Thursday,
lessons.
Right?
Yeah, they come out on Thursday.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And that was an easy question. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so the homework we covered: doing the gem per day per child, committing to not spanking, taking care of yourself. And then you should have read chapters 1 and 8 if you have the sibling issues. So definitely, Rachel, read chapter 8 in the book also. And then chapters 2 and 3 will be for next week. Now, the way that I've set this up is that this week and next week you'll get new lessons, and there's a lot of them, admittedly, and hopefully you can download them in a pod or somewhere where you can just listen to them while you're doing other things. And then the third week will be a catch-up week. So I'll give you some bonus homework, but there won't be any new lessons on week 3 and week 6 and then the last week. So you do have some breathing room weeks where you won't have new lessons, but we will have our call. And so I wanted to give lots of Q&A time because I know that's really helpful to everybody, but also not overburden you with the lessons. So just try to keep up with listening to at least 1 or 2 a day, and you should be able to keep up with the pace of the class and be able to finish all of the lessons by the end by using those catch-up weeks in order to have time to catch up when you need to catch up with stuff. And so for next week, reading chapter 2 and 3 in the book is going to set up what we'll be doing, and we're going to be the lessons will be about encouragement and praise and communication. And I always tell people that's my favorite set of lessons. So the session 2 in your workbook and the next series of lessons, these are my favorites. So the last week and this week are all what I call foundational parenting, like setting up a really good foundation of parenting, because then when we get to that next segment, which is redirecting the goals, you've already have a great baseline of parenting, and then we can start really approaching, what to do when they're in the goal of attention. Mom, dad, what to do when they're power struggling with us, what to do when they're in the goal of revenge, which is you're mean, I hate you, what to do when they're in the goal of avoidance or inadequacy, which is the whining and the crying and I can't do it. And so that's what these couple of weeks are. It's foundational stuff. It's ways to parent that one of the things that I realized a couple of years into teaching was that all of a sudden I realized when I was teaching these series of classes, it's like, wow, I do this. Oh, I do this. So hopefully that'll happen for you too, where you'll start to notice that these things that you're experiencing now is learning new ways to parent become the way that you parent naturally every day. And you'll also find a lot of things that you're learning in here are things that you already do, and you didn't know you were doing something that's so helpful for your kids or such a contribution for your kids. So you'll just get to honor that and own that and kind of pat yourself on the back and go, oh, I do that. That's pretty cool. That's one of the things that's really helpful. So that's what I have for this week. So any last questions, feel free to press 1 again. I've got all the hands down. And otherwise, I will wrap this up and get the recording out by sometime later this afternoon. I'll post that. And any other questions or details, please feel free to email me as well. And Rachel, write my phone number down. And if you feel like that 4-year-old's about to get it, you just call me up. And the first time you call me, I'll get your phone number in my phone and make sure that if I see it, I'll answer it, because I know those times are very you've got a moment or two, and you're either going to spank them or you're not. And like I said, I'm happy to talk you through it. Okay, no hands are up. So have a fabulous week. You guys have done a great job, and keep up the great work and keep in touch with me, and I will see you. Awesome, everybody. Take care. Have a fabulous week, and I will see you next week. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to today's Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast. If you're into season 2 and you're listening to all these great questions that the parents have and answers and ideas for what to do in all these different situations with your kids, please help us out. Like, share, subscribe, and especially leave us a positive review. All of that helps the podcast grow, and I really appreciate it. Thanks again for being here, and happy parenting.